In general, as a nation, compared to other nations, we have some of the highest rates of college debt. Over the past 10 years, the amount of student loan debt has practically tripled, and 15% of those in college debt are expected to default within their first 3 years of repayment. This is certainly a topic we can all relate to, and this map shows the percentage of college graduates with debt within that state and the average amount of college debt that those students have. The brighter the shade of blue, the higher the average amount of debt is within that state, and the brighter the shade of green, the lower the amount of debt they have within that state. So if we go over to Delaware here, we can see that Delaware tips off our scale at $33,649 as the average amount of debt, and 56% of their college graduates have that amount of debt. If I were to go to the slider here, we see that Delaware meets the criteria for the top of the scale. And if we were to go over to New Mexico here, we can see that New Mexico is the bottom of our scale, which is $17,994 of average debt, and 61% of their graduates have around that amount of debt. If I look at the chart here to the right, I've listed our top 5 states with college debt. And at the top, as you already know, is Delaware. If we move down, we can see we've got New Hampshire, which is highlighted in that bright blue, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and Rhode Island, which is teeny tiny right here, with a whopping 69%, 70%, 74%. So some of the states with the highest debt have some of the highest percentages of graduates with debt as well. Using the data that I found, I was able to get an average. So the average amount of college debt is a whopping $25,852. And 60% of graduates, on average, have college debt, which is ridiculous. So, of course, this is some information about where I got my data, and this was about nationwide college debt. The source of the data was from collegeinsight.org, which collects data from various sources, including Pell Grant files. I found the data by going to the website, which is the Project on Student Debt, which is an organization that focuses on awareness of the implications of college debt for our families, economy, and society. Their goal is to identify cost-effective solutions that expand educational opportunity, protect family financial security, and advance economic competitiveness. The reason why I chose the interactive map is because I found it to be the easiest way to visualize the impact nationwide. I had to edit the map quite a bit because it was initially made to be a world map. And so I had to work on the coding to figure out how to make it just for the US. And this was something that I took some time doing by practicing in the visualization playground through Google. So this is a Google tool, by the way. Um, I think it's an easy way for viewers to navigate because you just pan over the state and you're able to see the information regarding that state. And I found that the interactivity makes it a little bit more interesting and engaging versus just having a chart or having something that just shows a ton of data that's hard to sort through, which is actually what I started with when I got it from collegeinsight.org. So back to my visualization, we know that college debt is definitely a problem that's going on in our nation, and it's something that's become a priority for most politicians because students with college debt make up a great amount of their constituency within these states, as we can see. Um, I personally am way above this scale in terms of college debt because I'm an out of state student. And this is something that's really important to me in terms of how I'm going to live my life in the future. And I really found it interesting that I'm not the only one in this boat, and that there are people all over the country that are suffering from college debt and the evil that is Sally Mae. And hopefully, being able to see this data or with the amount of people that are affected by it, our country and our politicians can make a change or try to regulate the amount of college debt.